Hi, so I'm going to show you how to use some model line work to create a very simple pattern in Revit 2012. This could kind of be done in previous versions of Revit. It's nothing spectacular, but I'm just going to use Revit for the drafting of some line work to create a hatch pattern. I'm going to take that line work, I'm going to export it as a DXF. I'll import it into HatchKit Pro. To generate my hatch pattern, export that as a .pat file, and then we'll bring it back into Revit. So you'll notice that I have a floor plan level 0 highlighted over here. I've turned off the elevation markers, but what I have done is I've found the common origin point of 0, 0. You could do this in exercise in AutoCAD or AutoCAD Lite if you want to, but I've decided to try and keep everything in Revit. So what we need to do is go to annotate, and we need to just sketch out our hatch pattern. And what we're going to do is it's going to be block work, metric block work, 440 by 215, but I'm actually going to include the 10mm joint as well. So to start off with, I'll go to detail lines. I'm just going to pick my line work. Doesn't matter what line style it is, because that's really not that important. We just got to draft out this shape. So start up with 0, 0, and we'll come along and we need to draw the base here of 440. So that's our first top end of our block. Come up, 10mm joint. We'll come along here, 215, and then obviously the block height of 215, and then we'll come back here and join that up. Next thing I need to do is we need to just go back. If we go back to annotate, go back to our lines, and then we'll start here at the intersection. So what we need to do, the important thing here, this line here needs to be 225. Just sketch up here. It needs to be 225. Start off with our next joint. Come along here, and this one here should be 440. We'll come up here. This obviously needs to be 215, and it needs to add in the actual joint at this point here. Okay, so that's the basis of our pattern. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong first time, because you can bring it into HatchKit Pro. You can kind of look at it and say, well, is it repeating? If it's not working for you, go back into Revit, make the tweaks, and then export it out as a DXF and then bring it back in again. So I'm going to run through that exercise now. So let's cancel that. So you're going to remove the ordinate there. I don't need that anymore, and I'll remove those model lines. So go to the big R, export, CAD formats, DXF. I'm going to just leave everything as default there. Next, I'm going to choose DXF 2000. It doesn't really make any big difference, but it's just safer, because I'm not quite 100% sure what version of DXF HatchKit Pro uses, so you kind of best to use the lowest level. And we're just going to OK that. Right, so over to HatchKit Pro. I'm not going to give you a full lowdown on HatchKit Pro. To be honest, I don't know all the features anyway. But the idea being is you see the blue dots there, you can connect lines together, and you set a grid pattern, and you can draw. My preference, to be honest, is to use the route we're doing at the moment. It's just kind of quicker. So what we'll do now is go to File, we'll import, and we're going to import that DXF that we previously created. If we open that, and you can see that it's brought in. You can see it's automatically tessellating for you. And a really useful tool here is this one here, the Arrange tool, because you can see how the pattern's working for you. And as I said, if you make a mistake, don't worry, go back into Revit, make the tweaks, and then re-import it. So once we've done that, we just go File, and we're going to go Save As. And we have a choice of different types here. You'll notice that you've got inches and metric, and model and drafting patterns. So I'm going to choose model patterns okay, and I'm just going to call it block work hatch, and I'm going to put an underscore for M for metric. We'll save that, and it will ask you to make sure that the specific pattern name is named in the file as well, so it matches. We'll just choose that, and you'll notice there that the actual hatch pattern it's going to import at a scale of 1, so it does advise you there as well. So effectively this pattern's going to be 1 to 1. If we OK that, if we pop back to Revit, we'll leave our line work there, go to Home, and I'm going to quickly draw a wall. Select the wall itself. If we go to Edit Type, we'll edit the structure, and then we're going to apply and import this hatch pattern and just apply it to the default material. So we go to Surface Patterns, we go to the little button there, go to Model, and we're going to choose New. We'll choose Custom, Import, and we can locate our hatch pattern that we exported from HatchKit Pro. We open that. Notice how here the import scale is 1, so it's bringing it into millimeters 1 to 1, which is exactly what we want. You could scale it here if you wanted to, but obviously our preference is to have that hatch pattern at 1 to 1. If we OK that, it's brought in into our fill patterns. We just choose OK, and I'm just going to make well, actually what I'll do is I'm going to make it quite bright, so you can see. We're actually going to make it sort of blue, so the actual hatch pattern will be blue. If we OK that, apply, OK, and you can see now our hatch pattern is applied to our wall. If we go to a south elevation, you can see it here. What you can obviously do, I don't know if you're aware of this, you can use the Align tool actually to align the actual pattern, okay, which is kind of neat as well if you needed to. And actually if you tab select the pattern itself, you can use the Rotate tool. Okay, so if we made it change the angle to 45, you can actually run it at 45 degrees if there was a need to do that. Okay, so let's go back there. Just a few tips on actually creating some line work in Revit, exporting it as a DXF to be brought into HatchKit Pro to make your hatch pattern to bring it back into Revit. You know, $125, it might seem like a lot of money these days, probably isn't really. It's not even a good night out. But I would say that it will be the best $125 you'll ever spend, because to be honest, trying to code these things manually via a text file, particularly on complicated patterns, is an absolute nightmare, and it's all about trying to get stuff done as efficiently as possible. So well worth the investment. Hope you found this useful.